internet, and welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I am your host for the evening. My name is Advocate of Words. Never in my life have I looked forward to Mondays, but for the past 36 weeks, I have looked forward to Mondays because every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we get together and hang out and share our poems. And we got people from all across the world, and I have a great deal of fun. And I hope you have a great deal of fun too. So really quick, let's get down to business. Of course, this, like I said, this is episode number 36. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. If you would like to join us on Zoom, the number is at the bottom left-hand corner, 279-995-364. We would like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You too can help support us with the tax-deductible donation at neweurekan.org/contribute, or you can hit us on Cash App, you know, we new wave, New Eurekan Poets Cafe. And as I said, my name is Advocate of Words, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm sorry, I got my hat today. My hair is not as pretty as it is in the picture. Tonight, our theme is a new language. Now, when we have our themes, people don't have to follow the theme. We really encourage people to, though. It's always fun to see people attack a theme from different angles. And of course, they have poetic license. You flip it how you want. Next week, we have, the theme is original inspiration. And I chose that because December 21st is the birthday of a very good friend of mine named Herbie Fenord, and he's the one who kind of started me down this road of writing poetry. So original inspiration. And then the week after that, December 28th is going to be our last open mic, our last Monday night online open mic for 2020. And I want to hear poems or poetry prose where it begins with 2020 was. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, once again, the Zoom is 279-995-364. So let me get out of this. There we go. So we do have a waiting list. If you saw up on the open mic, I mean, if you got to watch the opening video, you got to see who is on the guaranteed list. And if those of you who are joining us on Zoom, if you look in the chat, I just put up who's guaranteed on the list. And actually Songbird or Songcatcher had to bow out. So that means Ron Mark Thompson is going to be number 25 on the list. So on my waiting list, I have the Urban Cowboy, Dane Intz, Gigi, Nelson Perez, Luis Pabon, Jade Lauren, Tessa Somok, Diane Ward, and Tiffany Jewell. These are the people who are on our waiting list. Now, usually we kind of get to one or two people in the waiting list. Last week, I think we got to everyone on the waiting list. So poets, you have 4 minutes to perform. Share your poems, whatever it is. 4 minutes. We ask that you please keep it to 4 minutes because we have a lot of people on the list. And we also like to get to people on the waiting list if possible. After you perform your poems, I'm going to ask everyone to unmute themselves so we could be obnoxiously loud, like we're at the cafe in a real open mic, right? Like, you know, I don't want to just see people waving around. When I ask to unmute yourselves, I hope that everyone unmutes themselves and makes a whole bunch of noise. So with that being said, as much as I love to talk and as much as I love the attention, you really didn't come here to see me. You came here to hear the poets. And our first poet of the evening comes to us by way of Los Angeles, and he is the GOAT, and that is Alexander Goldberg. Alexander, how are you this evening?
Hello, Advocate. Hello, everyone. I am well tonight. And I just wanted, before I start my poem, I wanted to tell the short story about the book that I've read recently. It is the book by Ludmila Ulitska. It is called Jacob's Ladder. And in that book, the main character is a guitar player who lives in New York City. And his mom comes from abroad to visit him in New York. So he drives her around. He shows her on the landmarks of the city, the night spots. And one of the places he takes her to is New Eurekan Poets Cafe. So, and then listen to jazz there. So I was really proud that I'm a part of this community, and that New York Poets Cafe is mentioned in the world literature. And I hope to see everyone there once the pandemic is over.
I love it. The people want to know the information. So when you're done with your poem, make sure you put the information in the book. And also, I'm sorry, I just posted the whole guaranteed list for everyone. But get it, Alexander. Rock out with your poem.
All right. So now on to my poem. The theme for tonight is the new language. So to me, when I think of the new language, I think of ballet, because in ballet, the plot and the relationship between people is expressed not through words, but through dance moves. And people understand this language. So my poem is called Dancing is My Therapy. I know that I had such a modest success, but that's not my primary issue, I guess. My family broke up, and I've been depressed until I remembered my own dream, to dance. And from the first lesson, I had this great feeling. I am letting go of my woes. I am healing. In this simple dance, there are only 3 steps. It's not complicated at all, but perhaps it seems to me like the new language I learn. With every new motion, with every new turn. But improvisation is also continuous. Moves that I make are based on my experience. On those who experience loss should be dancing. Those who knew the sorrow with anguish and sadness. It has lots of steps. It's your chance if you want it. It came from the slums and brought this happy moment. There's notion that women do not need to learn to dance. They knew how ever since they were born. But men do. They're paired with each other. They're ready for honor and right just to dance with a lady. I feel every muscle. I made the transition from taking part in martial arts competitions to doing my dance moves. I step to the beat. I'm feeling so good and I'm feeling complete. Despite skepticism of certain male friends, here is my advice if you ask, should I dance? If you're having doubts, should you try it at all? Just take a small step and just give me a call. It doesn't take much, but there is nothing better than having a pleasure of dancing together.
Unmute yourself,
Nice.
give some love to
Awesome.
Alexander.
Get it.
That was great.
That was
Very
wonderful.
nice, man. Very.
Alexander Goldberg, let me unmute him. And a little quick fun fact about me: in high school, I decided to take ballet and modern dance class instead of gym because I knew I'd be the only guy in the class and I'd get to be everyone's partner. But not about me. Alexander, where can we find you online, brother?
Find me online, Facebook, Alexander Goldberg 35, Twitter, Go15, and Instagram, Gorbenski. Thank you so much. I'm sure you did great in the dance class, by the way.
Hey, Alexander Goldberg. Make sure you check out the Zoom chat. Those of you who hear us with us on Zoom, I'm going to keep asking the poets to share their information on the social media so you can follow them. We're talking about building community, so build with them. Give everyone a follow. And later on, I know that we've had some of our participants actually publish their own books and anthologies. And one of the people who's helping out with that is our next poet, and that is Nick Paleologos, which his Giants have the same record as my Chicago Bears, I think, but somehow they're going to make the playoffs and not us. But I'm loving this shirt. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing well, Advocate. I hope that all is well with you and everyone. How is everyone doing? Everybody good? Thumbs up? Yeah. All right. So for this one, I've never done this before. I decided to translate one of my old pieces into Greek. So we're going to have an entire piece of mine in Greek, and I'm going to give you the English version. This one is called Stay Away. Greek first. Αφήσε με να διέσω το σκοτάδι κάτω. Ότι ίζω πω έκο αξίζει να διέζεις. Αυτό μπορώ να βεβαιώσω. Γιατί πρέπει να παραμένει στατισμό παρακάτω. Kai pote den yipeletote teai. Oti da prokipse. Kai adrenis. Kai min miente pote kato. Aftoboro na apeleroso. Oponos kato. Kai min to afiste pote na zeshelezilese. Kai kratiste apto to skodai kato. Here's the English one. Let me show the darkness below that the light I possess is worth living, that I can attest why I should say stagnant below, and never surmise that it will arise and keep dormant and never stay below, that I can release the pain beneath and never let it overflow and keep this darkness below. Thank you, everyone.
Unmute yourselves, give it up.
Amen.
Dope.
Breathe on it, baby.
That's fire.
You see what you started, Unmesh? Unmesh is going to be here later on in the open mic. And he was like, hey, can I do a poem in Hindi and English? So I was like, yeah, go ahead. Now everyone's going to start doing it. And I love it. I really love it. Nick, where can the people find you online?
You can find me online on Instagram at The Real Nick P. That's TheRealNickP. And I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for the submissions for Love Letters to Gaia, the anthology that'll be coming out hopefully soon. And thank you so much, everyone. And let's keep this night going. And also, a side note, Advocate, thank you for sharing, by the way, because I saw that on your Insta, you shared the flyer and everything. One of those that flyer that you shared, that was one of the ones I made. And that was pretty cool that you shared that. So I appreciate that very much. And to everyone that shared.
No doubt, it's about you. It's all about you. No, I'm joking. No doubt. Nick, Paleo Logos, make sure, Nick, that you put your info into the chat so people can copy and paste it, because I know how we are, man, the same way. We lazy, like we hear it, we're not going to type it out, but we can copy and paste, we'll do that. All right, Mr. Speaker is next. But I don't see him here. Where is Mr. Speaker? I don't see him. Oh, I see him. Oh, that's why, because he's usually not in his usual place, his living room. Looks like he's hanging out on the beach with us. Man, what are you doing at the beach and hanging out with us? You should be enjoying the palm trees. How are you, brother?
Good. It's cold out there.
Yo, it is freezing. It is free. That's why I got my jacket on, my hoodie, even though I'm inside, I'm cold. But all right, let me mute myself, get into it, brother.
Let's go. The greatest. Simply the most powerful utterance ever heard. Is very complicated and difficult to describe with written or spoken words. See, while birds and bees actually do sing in the trees, this word is powerful enough to bring anyone to his or her knees. I'm talking about the love that flows from a man's heart. The kind of love that gave this world its jumpstart. Love that can make you walk 20 plus miles. Yes, the kind of love that a parent has for his or her child. Faith, well, it can move mountains while hope springs eternal. But see, love, baby, love is greater than both of them. So record that in your mental journals. Love can cause you to help a person for whom you may not even know. Love can give you comfort when you're completely out of dough. Love was present in the beginning, yes, at the creation. And see, love, well, it'll be there at the fall of the last nation. Love conquers all, no matter what fight you're in. If love is your weapon, you will definitely win. Love is universal, as it can be spoken in any tongue. See, in Espanol, you are mi vida, which means you are my life. In Italiano, you are ti amo mio morte, which means I love you, my love. In Arabic, you are ayuni, which means you are my eyes. In German or Deutsch, you are mein Schatz, which means you are my treasure. In Tagalog from the Philippines, you are Mahal Katal, which means I love you. In that great African tongue of Zulu, you are ooey saying wasamo, which means I love you, my love. And in the language of love, French, you are tu es mon univers, which means you are my universe. God is the source of love. Remember that when you decide to mate, and understand that you could be acting like the devil when and if you show hate. Beauty and love, well, they should not be mixed together. See, beauty is superficial, but true love, well, it could last forever. Do not awaken love until you are truly ready, because it comes with a burden that is extremely heavy. Love has been known to work miracles, and deep wounds it is healed, but love has the power to even kill. Love has sent soldiers to war and guided the lost to safe ground. Love protects the weak and keeps smiles from becoming frowns. Love has been known to save some from a sure death. It has also caused some to give up all their wealth, because see, love, well, it's not guaranteed to any of us. Now, that's real. But until you have truly loved, you have not actually lived. Love can turn enemies to allies and cause friends to treat you better. True love always shines. It doesn't matter what the weather. Love truly conquers all. As it always wins, just give it a try. Love has billions and billions of victories, no losses, and it has never been tied. So love everyone, no matter they are friend or foe. That doesn't mean you cannot fight for what's right. Just don't harbor hate. Always let it go. There's only one source for this word, and that is from above. So remember that God is actually pure love. In peace.
Give it up for Mr.
Yes.
Speaker.
Yes, typical. Dope.
Fire, fire, fire. That was dope.
Mr. Speaker coming through, and you heard that? He got a message. Someone was hearing his poem. He's like, oh, baby, I'm coming over. I love that poem, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I love this dude, man. And I got to watch all the people's videos, and everyone was reacting. They were like, yes, yes, yes. International night here at the Eureka Poets Cafe. Mr. Speaker, where can we find you online, brother?
James, Mr. Speaker Inc. on Facebook. Just look up anything, all things, Mr. Speaker, you'll find me.
Appreciate it, man. Mr. Speaker, I love having this dude on, man. Like I always say, if the New York ever had to go to war, we needed a general to lead the troops, it would be Mr. Speaker. Moving on, next we are going to Mary Blenderman, and I appreciate Mary putting last name on the Zoom this time, because last time I didn't see your last name and I almost skipped you. Mary, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So, you ready to get into your poem?
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right, well, let's see. The theme this week is a new language. So I took out an old piece and dusted it off. And I'm excited to share, so we'll dive in. Thank you all for your attention. This piece is inscribed. The inscription says, "We must know we are worthy of touch before we can reach for each other." Audre Lorde. Like anyone who has trembled on the edge of disappearing, I had to learn to speak again. Silence is the oar you cling to after the ship goes down. Survival is not less painful than drowning, especially if you have to freeze before you escape. I don't mean how the iceberg becomes the ocean. I mean how hesitation can find a home in the hands. When I let my hands linger on a friend's freckled shoulders, my father told me not to touch her again. When I tried to teach my mother to dance, she removed my hands from her waist. The closet swallows everything you want to say. The closet has textured foam on the walls, sodden blankets crying on the floor. You keep trying to reach for her, but your hands are bound to your sides. You want her to stay, and you tell her goodnight. You want to kiss her, and you look at the sky. You want to know if making love is as frightening as making art, and you sleep on a bed barely wide enough for your heart. You will not let yourself believe anyone would want to be so close to you. They call it touch starvation, and I was emaciated. Touch was a tattoo in Latin, a dead language under my skin, until I learned to speak again. I danced until hold was a verb I could pronounce again. I wrote until love was a noun that fit in my mouth again. I bandaged my hands with adjectives like gentle and soft, bandages for healing and for fighting. So my hands were only bound to what I wanted to become. The only difference between shipwreck and shoreline is how fast you are sailing. If you move slowly, I promise, when you reach out, you will collide, but you will not drown.
Unmute yourself, give it up for Mary.
Mary. That was
Mary, that was amazing.
Nice. Excellent.
So many quotables right there. So many quotables. Oh, I love it. Mary, also poets who perform, including Mary. I'm saying to Mary, I'm saying to everyone else. After you let us know where we can find you, make sure that you check out the chat, because people always like to say things while people are performing their poems, and I don't want any of you to miss it. Mary, where can we find you online?
You can just find me here on the New Eurekan or open mics with the Pittsburgh Poetry Collective. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't know about the Pittsburgh Poetry Collective, so make sure you put the info into the chat for them, okay?
Will do.
Thank you, Mary. Mary Blenderman. Ooh, that iceberg line. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I love poetry. I'm such a geek. I'm so lucky I get to do this. Next coming up is a gentleman who's only sharing his work for the second time in public. The first time was us. And when the pandemic's over, we're all going over to his house to host the open mic, because wherever his space is, it looks like a real artist space. And that is Lynn Lane. Lynn, I'm so happy to have you again. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. That's a hell of a person to go after with my second time up at bat, you know? She killed it. She killed it. Now I'm like, shit. All right.
Yeah, and I saw on your Facebook that you just finished writing this poem about like an hour or two ago.
No, actually, I just finished it as the credits were rolling in the beginning. I had to adjust it. So this is some real new shit.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Lynn, go ahead, rock out, brother.
All right. Since I was a child, I've dreamt so many nights that I could fly. In every dream, though, I could never get more than a few feet off of the ground. So I've never actually soared with the eagles. I've only flown with the butterflies. I remember one day thinking, it must be real. I wouldn't keep having these dreams if it wasn't, right? So I made a plan. I knew the time and the place that I would leave this planet. I would take off from the old Italian guy, Mr. Cappy's yard, who used to pay us to go buy him cigarettes from the 7-Eleven when his wife wasn't watching. Those cigarettes eventually killed him. Maybe we did too. Of course, I could have taken an easier path for my first flight. I could have taken off using a pile of leaves as a safety net to prevent my demise like a flying trapeze artist would. But that would only mean that I didn't believe that any of this was real, that it was honestly just a dream, that I didn't believe that I could truly fly. But deep down inside, I knew that it wasn't just a dream. I knew that I could fly. I took off running, hearing nothing but my breath as it grew louder and louder and faster, with my excitement building with every step leading to my trajectory and me finally escaping this spinning pile of dirt, blasting into outer space, leaving every deep-seated fear and ounce of soul-burning pain behind. The cicadas silenced their song in anticipation of this historic moment that would eclipse the importance of man's first step on the moon. Nothing was going to be the same ever again. Everyone would finally see I was the rocket man. I could fly. I could soar, not too high, but I could fly with the butterflies. I saw my spot where I would take my final step and leap into the outer bands of our atmosphere. I would look down just before passing through the cumulus clouds heading towards the Milky Way and see all of my friends looking up at me, cheering me on as I disappeared. Go, rocket man, go! The cicadas' voices would come back screaming louder than ever. The birds' calls would fill the air with songs of envy. They would try to catch me only to realize that their feathers would never be strong enough to reach me. I would finally be free. My feet left the ground, and for that brief moment, everything was real. Time stood still. I was really flying. The cicadas watched with their million eyes in wonderment. It couldn't be, but it was. I was flying, if only just for a moment. Just for one brief moment, my dream was real. If only it could have lasted. I still dream about flying. I wake up sometimes thinking, maybe it is real. Maybe one day I will fly. Soar with the eagles and leave the butterflies behind. Maybe one day I will finally be free. Maybe one day I will be the rocket man.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Lynn Lane.
Damn, man, that was
That's great, Lynn. Wow.
Woo.
Amazing.
Yes, Rocket Man.
Thanks.
Yes, I loved it. And then bringing in like you want to be a rocket man, you turn out to like be a butterfly, but you can still fly. I loved all of that. Lynn, you're awesome. Y'all need to follow Lynn on Instagram. His photography is fantastic. Lynn, where can the people find you?
So on Instagram, it's Lynn Lane Photography or transitory_sound_and_movement. That's my collective that we do performance-based work with sound, movement, all kinds of stuff. And then on Facebook, it's just Lynn Lane. You can friend me, say hi. That's it.
Awesome. Lynn, please make sure you put all of that information onto the Zoom chat so that people can find it all. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, my man.
Lynn,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Lynn.
I'll get the...
He's, wait, he was speaking and I muted him. Let me unmute him real quick, okay, so he can finish his thought.
I'll get the butterflies out, man. I'm like trembling like crazy, but like on stage, I can perform in front of hundreds of people, music, but this scares the shit out of me. So I'll work it out, man. I'll work it out.
You know what's difficult about this? I've been interviewed a lot about it, is that like you don't have the feedback from the audience. And you know, like it's a dance when you're in front of people and you know where you stand. With this, it's a little harder. So
yeah, it's crazy.
But you're doing fantastic. I'm loving it.
Nah, man, I'm on stage with literally hundreds of people looking at me. My blood pressure doesn't change at all. This, I'm like trembling trying to do it. So it's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, thanks.
Lynn Lane, make sure you put that information into the chat. And because I know we had some people who show up late on Facebook or YouTube, if you want to join us, we are on Zoom. Right there is the number on the left-hand side, 279-995-364. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We usually have themes. Tonight, our theme is a new language. Next week, it's original inspiration. And the week after that is a poem that begins with 2020 was. If you want all this information, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. That's where I put up this info at Advocate of Words. And when you spell Advocate of Words, that is with a Z at the end. All right, let's keep it moving now. Next coming up is Catherine Badan, but I don't see Catherine. Catherine, I didn't see Catherine here. Maybe she'll come later. I hope all is well with Catherine. All right, so Catherine's not here. That means Trisha De Jesus is here. And where is next? Where is Trisha? Where's Trisha? I don't see Trisha De Jesus. I see Jane Spoken Word. Hi, Jane. I see Overdose in the Baby. What's up? Oh, and there is Trisha. Now I see her. Let me unmute her. Oh, and now the window's looking festive, getting ready for the holidays. How are you, Trisha?
I'm doing pretty okay. Yeah. How are you?
Okay. It's been a rough week, but I always look forward to hanging out with y'all. Makes me feel a little bit better. So, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's
all right.
true.
Ready to get into it, Trisha?
I'm gonna get right. Yes, sir. So this poem, I titled it Wika, which is language in Tagalog. So it's called Wika, a New Language. I was a little girl when I heard my first Tagalog slur, but I didn't even know it. Somebody had told me to repeat the phrase, isa, dalawa, tatlo, ang tatay mo ay kalbo. I thought I was cool and one with the playground rulers until I came home and repeated it to my mama. Yes, Trisha, your daddy is kalbo, bald, but that is not something to laugh about. We moved against my will to the Philippines eventually when I was 9 years old, turning 10. My parents were afraid of being these easy target Southeast Asian in a racist deep South Louisiana. So we never learned our parents' native tongue, save for a few words we heard from drunken aunts and uncles at every family get-together. One of my first lessons was how similar words with different meanings sounded and looked, like bato for stone and buto for milk. Butiki was your common house lizard, and botika is where you picked up over-the-counter heat rash remedies. My mama's personal favorite was a word spelled identically, Sucka, that I could never get the hang of, suka for vinegar and suka for vomit. The second tier challenge was to hold my tongue in just right, in the right position for ng, nga, for oo nga, ing for bibingka, nang for explaining exactly of what it is. I kind of like the silliness, the sing-song quality of words that repeated in situations, like when you're going to the sari-sari store for a variety of things, or when it's New Year and a must to have bilog-bilog, something round and lucky for dessert. Some words and phrases speak epic stories of seafaring travelers and merchants passing through, and conquistadors who sadly were not. Mukha is Tagalog for face, and it was dropped off along with peppers and fragrant herbs when trading spices. La mesa, where we had a proper sit-down dinner, had more time to mellow and cement. 333 years of Spanish rule to be exact. The Americans did a little takeout, no surprise there. Every time someone childishly mentioned cooties, I think of the kuto that held fast to my sisters and my hair, ravenous little lice, hungry for a little taste of Kano dead skin cuisine. I laugh when old-fashioned phrases like dilly-dally is mouthed. Dali-dali, hurry now, scurry is its busy opposite. My favorite words are joy themselves to form on my lips, and they speak gently to the wind that carries them. They are sounded out verbal oil paintings, renderings of what they are. Diwata, the local fae folk and the demi-goddesses frolic in all their nude glory and then flee along the final ning-ning of heaven's constellations. If your human eyes are blessed enough to see them, luwalhati sa inyong kaluluwa, how blessed, how anointed with grace your soul has now become. I regret my childhood dismissal of this flowing ocean breeze and rice planting rhythm dialect. I am in love with this language, this vernacular that teaches, that with each utterance connects me closer and closer to my roots, my ancestors' beautiful Wika, a sacred motherland's tongue. I think, and it is perfect, that my literary fairy godfather, Dr. Jose Rizal, the Philippines' beloved national hero, sums up my thoughts in his brilliant, timeless way. Ang taong hindi marunong lumingon sa kanyang pinaggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa paruroonan. A man who does not know how to look back at where he came from will never get to his destination. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give some love to Trisha.
Yes.
Trisha.
Dope.
Like that, like a lot.
All right, let me unmute everyone because I know some people said that they were having trouble unmuting, so I was trying to get more people to unmute. All right, now let me unmute Trisha. Oh, Trisha is like such since the gold standard here at the Monday Night Online Open Mic. He knows her poetry. Y'all need to reach out and speak to this woman. I actually became aware because she was in the comment section. Make sure that you guys also comment in the chat because the poets will get to see it, like Trisha. And she was breaking down someone's poem, and I was like, this woman knows poetry. She needs to share. I'm so happy she shares. Trisha, thank you for being with us. Where can we find you online?
On Instagram, at Phin_Bell, PHYNNE_BELLE.
Thank you, Tricia, and make sure that you put it into the chat as well so that people can copy and paste, because like I said, people are lazy. And the Melanie, I tried to unmute you. I don't know if you got it. Let me try it one more time. Is it asking you to unmute?
It worked.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right, I gotta mute you. All right, cool. We can't be too loud. Melanie has some babies in the back sleeping, but she wants to make noise. She hit me up. She's like, I want to make noise for these poets. They're great, but I can't. So glad we fixed that. Next up is Jessica Edine. Where is Jessica, who is hiding under her husband's surname? Wait, Jessica, where were you? I saw you earlier. There we go. But now she's like, nah, honey, I love you. Don't get too close to me and I need to step on my own. Jessica, how are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I promise you I'm going to stop making fun of your husband. Today will be the last day. I've done it for like 2 or 3 weeks now. It's over.
It's okay. As long as you're not making fun of me, I'm fine.
I love it. All right. I'm going to mute myself. Go ahead, Jessica. Rock out.
Okay. So the theme is new language this week. This is titled On the Tip of My Tongue. What's the word for the moment after you take a long, hot shower and you feel deeply cleansed and rejuvenated? I want to feel like that, except I have taken too many showers in a feeble attempt to rid myself of all the shame and guilt that I am carrying. My skin is raw. No amount of scrubbing can unstain my filth. I don't bother wiping off the foggy bathroom glass mirror as I pass it. Steam turned condensation, tiny water droplets which distorts the light enough to make my reflection hazy. I like it better this way. I am disgusting, but I'm more so disgusted of these thoughts that are out of my control. I cannot convince myself otherwise, although I know in the deepest part of my soul that they are not true. What's the word for trying to convince someone you're not lying, but instead you sound and you look like you're lying even more, to the point where you have to question yourself if you're even telling the truth in the first place? Of course you're telling the truth. You're telling your truth. Just maybe not the truth. What's the word for not understanding the difference? Well, understanding, but not truly comprehending, not being able to feel it, only know it. Know it deep down in the bottom of your emotionally overflowing soul, because it isn't empty. It's just filled to the brim. It's exhausted. What's the word for the lack of satisfaction that you feel? When people ask me what's wrong, I can't find the words. And when they don't ask me, I can only tell myself bad ones. Imagine a tiny, fragile flower blossoming. Everyone oohs and ahs over it as they pass by it in a ghost town. People stop to appreciate its beauty and strength, especially since it has no business being there in the first place, until they realize it is blooming from a weed which is causing decay in the concrete. Is there a word for that confusion, that disappointment? Because if there were, I'd respond with that word. I wish there was a word for it all. What's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. I need a new language.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Jessica.
Nice.
Loving it. Let me unmute Jessica. Also, there have been some requests, Jessica, for you to play the guitar next time. But I love it.
We'll need my husband for that one.
Oh, okay. We're gonna need Mr. Woodson. That's what we're gonna need.
He'll join next week, maybe.
Okay, all right, awesome. And then I'm gonna have to call you Jessica Woodson then.
That's true.
Jessica and husband Woodson coming next. I love it. Jessica, to me, you're like a tormented artist, and I love it. I love tormented artists, but you make it and look good. You make it sound good. Jessica, where can we find you online?
If you'd like, you can follow me on Instagram at Just Playing It by Ear.
Awesome. Make sure that you put it into the chat. And oh wait, someone didn't hear the ending. Can you just say the last few lines real quick?
Oh.
Or is it too much?
Sure. I think it just was, what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I need a new language.
Yes.
So it was kind of a poem that I made before knowing the theme. And then I kind of worked it into the theme of it.
Well, it worked. I loved it. So please, Jessica, make sure you put the information in the chat. I think you got some new followers, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica Edine, She's awesome. This is like her fourth time being with us, like the fourth time I got to make fun of her husband. Man, if y'all got like a significant other, yeah, they're fair game. We're gonna make fun of them here. Affectionately, of course. Okay, next coming up is Unmesh Mohitkar, who is still drinking his coffee and having his breakfast because he's in India and it's like 9 a.m. in the morning, and he has started this trend of sharing more than one language in the poems, and I'm loving it. Unmesh, how are you this morning?
I'm great, thanks, Advocate. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm glad. So far, so good. I'm really liking this topic. Every topic I give and every theme I give, I like, but I never know how it's going to come out. So far, we're like 43 minutes in, and I'm loving it. So, okay, let's continue rolling. Go ahead, Unmesh.
Yes. Let me start with the Hindi-English poem and then an English poem. Okay. सब इंतजार करे किसी का, सब इंतजार करे किसी और का, और वो इंतजार करे खुद का. Everyone waits for someone else, and he waits to find himself. सब जुट गए कुछ कर दिखाने में, वो जुट गया खुद को पाने में. All worked to do something great, and he started working to find himself. सब कुछ खोकर पाया, सब कुछ पाकर खोया, सब कुछ सपने, सब कुछ खोकर पाया खुद को उसने. Lost everything after getting everything. After losing everything, he found himself. Now everyone starts chanting his name, but he never wanted a name for himself. He just wanted to find himself. That was the first one. Second one is called cunning. So people on the streets are called cunning. So this is about it. Cunning he knows the language of the streets, knows how to find ways in the woods, ready to fight for the food at the cost of burning wood. Wearing hood cannot be fooled. He is a fox, strong like an ox. You call it a life? Baby left on the road alone in a blanket to live a life, to fend himself. Neither you did help. You were busy, your future rosy, getting cozy, but he decided to live in the streets he grew. Streets taught him nothing is wrong or right, but to live is his right, and he decided to fight. Now you want him to play it right? You talk about your rights. Where were you when he was held in the dark corner sights? He surrendered, but the scars still are black and bright. Nobody helped him. Everybody bumped, dumped, and jumped him. He is alive because he is cunning. Now you ask him to live like a normal being. Without cunning, he is nothing. Accept or reject, he is alive and living because he is cunning. This is a research subject in the poverty abject. Shut your mouth. Accept him as a living. Don't ask him to live his cunning. Don't give him death while he is winning. Don't give him death while he is winning. Thanks.
Unmute yourselves, give it up.
Yes.
That one, nice.
The people are going crazy. I got to love the video. Nicole Azali, I hope I say your last name right. She was like, and I felt the same way. Also, Paul Skiff, who is next, is an OG of the Nuyorican. He's like, I love the emphatic delivery, very old school Nuyorican and new school Nuyorican. Unmesh, where can we find you online, brother?
Yeah, it's Unmesh Mohitkar on Instagram and Mohitkar Unmesh on Twitter. There are other places as well. I will paste it in the chat box. But you guys are great. I'm getting to know myself better and better as days go by. And thanks all of you. Thanks everyone. Thanks Advocate, La Bruja, and the whole team. It's like an extended family. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Unmesh. Unmesh Mohitkar. Make sure you put all of your information into the chat. And yes, there is a whole team behind us on Thursdays. We have another open mic in case at the end of this, you're like, man, I need more. Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, La Bruja hosts the open mic. And of course, behind the scenes, Jason Quinones, Chris Lopez helping us out. Olivia, who's new with us, has helped out. Nick has helped out. There's a bunch of people behind the scenes that we always got to give love to. Also, I believe I saw Raul Rios in here, and Raul Rios, Yeah, I see Raul. Raul Rios, he's got like this weird job with the New York. One minute he's the manager, next minute he's the bouncer, the next minute he's a curator for shows, next minute he's on the stage. I mean, he's all over the place and we love him. Raul Rios, man. All right, let's keep moving on. Also, shout out to Amanda. Oh, she left. You see, Amanda's been giving love to everyone. I see her jumping up and down, like giving love, and then she leaves. We're hello, Amanda's couch. Oh, there's Amanda. Hi, Amanda. I was just giving you a shout out, and your couch was receiving it. She ran back from somewhere. I hope it was an important call that you ran back from. She's like, my name. Okay. So now we're going into the word verse with Paul Skiff. And Paul is a New Yorker OG, as I say. I feel like he's got more claim to this open mic than me. Paul, how are you this evening, brother?
I'm okay, Advocate. I'm a little exhausted, but that just makes me call upon my reserves to kick up this stuff, right?
Oh, yes. All right, let me mute myself. Go ahead, Paul. Get into it.
Raul's here, huh? Lurking. Hi, Raul. I hope you and everybody in your family's doing well. I just wanted to say that. This thing takes English language and gets meta with it, so it isn't going to sound like it's making sense in English in the usual way. It's called The Unfair Question. Into condition of reputation only, controlled by the basic notion that in particular moves to sympathy, enters condition of inquiring for, that are those belonging to or done by an analogical formation from possessive pronominal, especially a gem, introducing an alternative as, expressing a negation, denial, refusal, or prohibition lacks the condition of the word, requiring show of cards, equaling the bet of another into open air, beyond normal surface, beyond the reach of memory, vary for the reasons specified, usually followed by that as, by the ear, analogical formation, the sound resulting that laughs, to eviscerate into condition of low spirit by stress of weather, of belonging to or done by almighty infinite power, thought of as a word, conduct together any whatsoever concertedly toward some goal, beginning at the meaning controlled by basic emotion previously recognized, noticed, or encountered, in distinction to a small piece of anything, an amount equal to 12 1/2 cents a moment, belonging to the one that, as I know you want, the person or person possessing three or more of which are then twisted to a conclusion in a manner producing beyond regular limits deviation from what is right. To oust possession of secret, the sound I, thought of as a word, as please, any whatsoever concertedly towards some goal, if and such things next in time, the thing further away distinguished from this, plural and second person pain of mind, the thing further away distinguished from this, thought of as a word, to soften somewhat the force of a statement, expressing in diminished degrees, a very high degree, nearly just about almost equally, into condition of a musical note, to form negative or interrogative sentences, the thing is nearer distinguished from that. This claim I make.
Stellar, far out.
Woo!
Yes,
Stellar.
Stellar.
Jane's spoken word said that is the Paul rhythm. And I love it. I believe it. I believe it. Paul, where can we find you online, brother?
It's just paulskiff.com. Thank you, everybody, for being here again another week. This is just a thing that adds all the inertia to the week I need, and it's great to see this keep going, and the spirit is really crucial and vital. So I went, advocate, there's a Miguelabration coming up. Did you hear about this celebration for Miguel that's scheduled on the calendar?
Yes. So I'll here it is. I don't have all the information. I know I'm part of it, but this Saturday, I believe it's from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm not exactly sure. I'm waiting for all of the info. We are going to celebrate Miguel Agarin. For those who don't know, 2 weeks ago, he passed away. He is one of the original founders of the New Rican Poets Cafe. We're looking to, we've been mourning, but we're looking to celebrate his life. That's how he was. So on December 19th, we are going to be having like this online extravaganza, bringing in a lot of people from the old school to come in and perform. I know me and La Bruja is going to be part of it. Mahogany Brown and Jive Poetic are part of it as well. We're part of like the 2000 plus team, because like I said, the New York has a lot of history, as Paul Skiff will tell you. So once I get more of that information, I will definitely share it with everyone. I'm waiting for specific details. I haven't gotten that yet. Of course, if you're following the New Rican Poets Cafe on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, any of the places you'll get the info, or if you're following me. So Paul, thank you very much for that reminder. You see, Paul has more claim to this open mic than I do. So you can check out Paul Skiff at paulskiff.com. Also, I wanted to give a belated happy birthday shout out to Glissette. Oh, she didn't know that was coming. Happy birthday, Overdose. Hit me up. If you're embarrassed, blame Overdose and Baby Overdose. Also, a happy birthday. Oh, your hair is on point today, Glissette. Woo, birthday hair. You must have been partying, looking good. Also, and then I say that and she turns off her video. Also, I want to give a happy birthday to Norm Mathematics. Norm Maddox on Facebook. He's part of our community. He is celebrating his birthday as well. He's not here with us today because he's probably throwing back a few, getting wasted. No, he's not. But he's not here today, but I want to give a birthday shout out to Norm. Okay, next coming up is Gwen C. Haven't heard from Gwen C in like forever, even though I think they a couple of weeks ago, Gwen C was on the open mic, but then she didn't show up. Gwen C, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to see you here, especially like I said, I saw your name on the open mic list a couple of weeks ago, but then you didn't show up. Like, what happened? Did you have a class or something?
I don't even remember, but if it kept me away, it was something, because I wouldn't skip once I signed up. So.
Oh, okay. And I just made the class joke because that was something Catherine Sweeney had said last time about why she missed the open mic.
Yeah.
That's our new thing. So when people miss something, we say, oh, did you have a class? But I'm glad to have you back. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna let you get into it. Go ahead, Gwen.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go fast. It's new and it might be closer to 4:30 and I'm gonna read, so I'm gonna go fast. I consider myself quite articulate. Maybe it's that poet ego. Always been a talker, persuasive, yet trying to answer what would I say to the younger me was challenging, like removing hidden hate from the local PD in every small town, parish, major city, county, invasive. I was slowly removing layers like sweat beads dripping in hot summer South, like DJ Screw playing in the background. I started with, don't ignore red flags. It might seem odd now, but someday your toughness will be measured by your walk. There will be gadgets like Fitbits or something, so get them steps tracked and exercise your right to leave. Devices will tell you your breathing is improving, but only if you give your heart a chance. I say someday you will be tempted to curse at your kids. You will refuse them fast food and bad habits such as Happy Meals, yet might let your battles keep you from serving them Happy Meals. Someday you will make others realize that being third coast mate is still dope and the 409 will forever be home. But when she passes, your gut will feel an emptiness never felt. You will wonder how to continue in the 502, wanting to sip Kentucky bourbon when you don't even drink. You will see that home was always the bluegrass state, as home is any place where she could be found along the trail. Someday you'll crave a sororal connection, honoring it like symbolic beauty of braids. Toxic people will despise you because of your complexion or because your complexion matches theirs, but your beliefs do not. Someday you may feel like a failure because you didn't become a TV show host or a stadium manager. You chose to chase paper that you could catch as VP of HR, but don't hold it against yourself, as you've always been a paper chaser, because the only thing that's ever been as valuable as the almighty sheet is the print itself, like writing with a brand new number 2 or a perfect gliding pen in a fresh notebook or on a loose leaf stack, the holes perfectly aligned. The holes in your life have never been perfectly aligned. Remember that Easter dress you wore year after year until it wouldn't fit, and how high you held your head when that bonnet was tied below your chin. Why are you shrunken into your shoulders now? Chest out. You can fix your mistakes. Folks can only make you feel like number 2 if you don't love the blemish left by the eraser residue. The problem isn't that we forget where we come from. It's that we forgot how we came up. Someday you won't know you're being the best mother because you don't feel that ceremonious. Someday you won't be recognized because someone will say you lost your past because you got out. But you still exist. You must show folk they can't alleviate the parent, alienate the poet. Shit, you probably wrote one about them. Let them know they can black sheep you, but your bloodline is still the same. Someday you will hide extra slides in your car because getting overheated scares you. Your water bottle will make every backpack or bag heavy. You will keep multiple bottles in car, snacks for emergencies, Benadryl in case your throat suddenly swells, although it never has, aspirin for heart attack, ibuprofen and Tylenol, just because survival preparedness reduces your anxiety about your anxiety because it stays at mountaintop. Simply, you will be a warrior because you are a warrior. You'll be shielded by shallow conversations with those meant to be closest to you, yet you'll empath, deeply absorbing everything for everyone. Someday in your 40s, you will realize some folk you must know and some folk you must know. Knowing the difference will be your armor. Someday you will believe that wind is speaking to your soul. You will pronounce it unole to honor your mother's ancestors. You will wish to know their wisdom. You will know child's love of mother, mother's love of child as strength when hunger hides. You'll remember that you never dreamed of your wedding day, but every day you're dying for a love story. Someday I will tell you that God created a person just for you, and somewhere in some place that person's blending in with scenery, maintaining yet misplaced, sighing through each of your mistakes. Somehow you must excel and meet to where you two finish each other's breaths. Someday your tribe's bloom will be because of seeds you plant, but you aren't perfect. So remember, just because you're someone's dirt doesn't mean you have to make mud. I will tell you not to forget the promises you made in times of distress, because in those times you were begging. I will tell you it's okay to look back as long as you don't see anything. I will tell you there is therapy for your addiction, because if you chase the feeling of falling in love, it will be impossible for you to be in love. You will always have reservations, but the only cure is self-love. Someday you will find deeper depression, but pieces of poetry will weaponize to protect you. You will beg clutter to stop boxing you. You'll be searching milk cartons, looking for your face on a box, asking, have you seen me? 2 homes, 3 sons, 3 degrees, 7 books, professional certification, activism and career, organized chaos, constantly connected yet so disconnected. Someday you will learn that fullness is the greatest sign of empty. I will tell you that your modesty doesn't look like their boldness. And although you've always said you get full when you feed others, for you it is time to eat.
Unmute yourselves, give some energy.
Yeah.
Kentucky,
Dope.
go.
Dope. Love it.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
Dope. That was super
God.
dope, man.
Yes.
Time to
Oh
eat.
my God.
That was fire.
Gwen, you need to come back. You're not allowed to do anything with your life on Monday nights except come back and hang out with us. Let me unmute you. Also, I appreciate you. She was speeding through it because she was conscious of the time so others can get in. I really appreciate that. So Gwen, where can we go find you online so that we can listen to you and read your work at a leisure pace?
Thank you. It's Gwen C. CEE, anchored in poetry on every social media, or gwenc.com.
Awesome. Gwen, make sure that you put all that information in the chat as well, please, okay?
Yes. Thank you. I love y'all. Peace.
Thank you, Gwen C. Lighting it on fire. The people are loving it. A shout out to Edward Foreman. I see you giving us a lot of love, brother. I want you to know that you're being recognized too, man. I appreciate everyone giving love, putting your cameras on and giving love, right? That's why I do that. Also, I see Diane Ward. She's later on the waiting list. I don't know if we're gonna get to her, but I love seeing Diane Ward here. She is fantastic. And I'm glad that her husband doesn't know where I live because I have been very flirtatious online with her. All right, next coming up, you heard earlier we referred to love letters to Gaia, and Nick P went in Paleologos. I spent a long time trying to learn that man's last name. I'm going to say it. Paleologos. We talked about it, and the person who started all of this off, the person who birthed the brainchild of this, it is Miro, who's now in New York. Am I correct?
You are correct. Guilty as charged. I'm on Staten Island. It's been 2 weeks, and I somehow made it here. I left West Virginia in the worst possible conditions. It was foggy. It was rainy. It was like slippery. But I'm glad I left the day I did, because the very next day they got like, I don't know, 6 inches of snow or something. So.
Well, you're here, and you know what? I forgot that you were moving until I saw your new background, and I hadn't seen you in the past 2 weeks, and I was like, yo, what the hell, man? Miro's not here. Everyone's shouting out the book, but Miro's not here, and I remembered, oh yeah, she was on the move. So I'm glad everything went well, and I'm glad you're back. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was here last week. I was just blowing up the chat. I was like, I didn't perform last week. But I was blowing up the chat, and I was, shouting out the book. Submissions
sorry. Miro biting back like, well, I'm part of this community. Don't you forget me. I'm here. That's right. That's right, Miro. I love when people do that. Now I'm here. Say my name right. All right. All right, Miro, I'm going to mute myself and let you rock out. Go ahead.
Okay. So thank you. So I took the theme, and I sort of like placed it in the last 2 weeks and sort of what's been going on with me, and the move and everything. It is kind of a new language, but I'm also kind of relearning, and it's sort of like all over again because I've already been here. And this is like the first thing I've written in 2 weeks, so bear with. It's called Again. Once again, I've unboxed my books, nailed my art to the walls, made friends with the felines who prowl these halls. I've wandered the neighborhood, the aisles of key foods, the parks nearby where the wild turkeys congregate, island dwellers walk, and the fishermen hook their bait. I've swiped left and right on the couch again when parched for a little attention, and roamed Central Park with a nice enough guy. I've been driving, learning the city way of navigating rolling stops and pedestrian dodging. I've broken down boxes again, stashed suitcases in the attic, been trying to establish a routine while I adjust to the whirlwind of being back in a city I left for good. Learning these streets again, the piles of garbage and wailing sirens again, learning to catch the ferry, timing so I won't be stuck in purgatory, masked up this time, sanitizing my hands again and again, keeping an eye out for anything that should befall me, good, bad, I know the ugly, but I'm here again, in spite of the virus and the hyperventilating voices oozing anxiety, here to try to learn to refamiliarize myself with my guts, with the language of the city, and go again. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves, give it up for me.
Dope.
Excellent. Most excellent.
That was hilarious.
I love it. I love it. I was thinking of my city, especially when you talk about like dodging pedestrians. I'm sorry if I butchered that line. But when you talked about, I was like, I felt like, oh, that's very New York City. And I noticed a lot of people who are not used to a big city when they come to New York, they're like, why is everyone so rude bumping into me? And it's like, yo, that's just New York. It's not rude. It's just how we are, you know? Like, you know what's rude in New York City? If you walk up to a stranger and say, yo, you got nice sneakers. Because then we can think that you're going to rob us. But okay, anyway, Miro, where can we find you online?
I'll just say it's dodging pedestrians in a freaking car, okay? Like, I had it made in West Virginia, wide roads, nobody cares about the speed limit, and now here I'm like, ah. So I am on Instagram, Miro Reads Books. I'll put that in the chat, and we'll have that anthology all wrapped up and ready to go. We're hoping for Valentine's. I just want to say thank you to everybody who submitted. The response has been overwhelming in the best way, and it's been an incredible experience so far. So thank you, and I'll stop it there.
That's what's up. Thank you, Miro. Miro, make sure you put your information to the chat so people can copy and paste and look it up. Next coming up is Melanie Figueiredo. I hope I'm saying that right. Wait, where is Melanie? If I'm saying it wrong, she will tell me. I'm asking to unmute her. Let's see if she can unmute.
I got it.
Did I say it right?
Got it right. Congratulations.
Awesome. Let me tell you, your name popped out to me when I had gotten the list. I was like, oh man, wait, that's not Figueroa. Wait, what is it? Figueiredo? Okay, cool. And then you let me know how to pronounce it. I appreciate it. You made me look smart, which I'm really not.
You're welcome. And I will just follow Lynn and say that not only is this my first time with you all, but this is my first time ever performing my poetry in my life. So I'm shitting bricks, I'm gonna throw up, and I have a significant other on this call as well, and this is new, so he's watching me, and I'm not gonna name him because I don't want you to blow his.
Oh, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna find him because I think if I have one guess, I think he just turned his camera on not too long ago. Am I right? Right? He's trying not to give it away. He's doing a very good job.
I just gotta get this over with before I die.
All right, go ahead.
And if I faint, come find me all. Okay, there we go. I once married a man who seeps regret for his life, which never quite unspooled the way it could have. This man with all of his certifications and his voice like a harp and his mind like a sieve. Regret pulls him downward as he walks, his body pulling to the earth. You can see it, you can feel it, and you feel heavier just bearing witness. Everything that sparks and is bright inside of you wants to shake him and say, man, stand up and walk like he is Lazarus and you are Jesus. You want to remind him of his power, of our power as humans to heal thyself, but you have tried and tried for years, and the hurling of yourself against a brick wall to try to save him or redeem him or change him or drag him up the mountain of your lives has left you both dizzy and tired and worn through. It's been bone rubbing against bone for years now. Slowly, slowly, the regret begins to creep over you too. A winding dark stalk looking to continue rooting, it finds your full and vibrant body, that fresh-faced bride with the world ahead who didn't want to believe the things she saw even at the start. When regret smells hope, it's delicious and true and nourishing, and up it climbs slowly like stealth into various areas of your lives, the homes you never bought, the trips you never took, the memories you never made, and all of a sudden you are 40, and all of a sudden you are choking. The choking and subsequent coughing is enough to shake you out of your reverie. Thank God it does, because regret is a tempting mistress who casts an enchanting spell. The choking continues until you are gasping for air because you simply cannot take another step with someone who embodies an anchor, who embodies every grief that has ever visited each singular cell and remained. You say, I mustn't go on like this. We are the stuff of light and freedom. We are meant to lift and lilt and live out loud. We are too young for this type of drowning. And he looks confused and says, okay, we'll try. I'll try. This can all be fixed. But what can come of a wet blanket placed carelessly on top of wood that is too damp to light? What can become of more silence on top of silence when the quiet and the space were never the problem? Neglect can feel like choking too sometimes. He doesn't know that chatter rekindles, that touch sparks, then flames in that good way. And it will take years of this touch and chatter to warm us up enough to even consider being ablaze. His intent to begin again, fresh like the phoenix upon its burnt nest, is valiant and admirable. But I was always the phoenix, the one looking to uproot, to fly, to start anew, stronger, better, faster, free. You'll never wonder whether it's fight or flight with me. I used to think I could drag him through my various iterations, that he'd catch fire like Icarus, that he'd rise by association. And for small patches of time, small patches of sunlight, we'd sit and be warm together, and I'd think we were finally home. When someone does not want to stand in the sun long enough to feel glory on his face and in his bones, you let him feel the tears instead. You cannot stop a man from grieving. As it turns out, he can grieve his whole life long, looping memories that feel like ruts in his body, the pain more comfortable and familiar than the freedom from it. He is sopping, heavy, wet, and solidly planted. The yin to my yang, except now I'm yin and yang both. Now I am complete alone. Now I am whole and shedding something that feels like oceans.
Give it up for Melanie!
That was amazing, Melanie.
Yes, yes, yes.
Congratulations. Yes, congratulations.
Melanie Figueiredo. I'm so happy she told me how to figure out how to say her last name. That is awesome. And you saw that afterwards. She's like, wine, I need wine. You are fantastic. The people love you. Melanie, where can we find you online?
I am not on any social media, so actually nowhere, but I hope to be back here again. So thank you for such a warm welcome. I appreciate it.
I get it. Witness Protection Program. That's why you have a name that's difficult to pronounce. I get it. Witness Protection Program. All good. Melanie Figueiredo, please come back. You were fantastic. Also, check out the chat, because a lot of people had a lot of nice things to say. And Urban Cowboy, you sent me a private message saying, you did great, Melanie, come back. Make sure that you put that into the chat so that everyone else can see it too. And Melanie can see it. So shout out to the Urban Cowboy. That dude is awesome. Next coming up is Geronimo, but I don't see him. I did it. Oh, yes, I do. Now I see him. Let me unmute him. Should be able to unmute yourself. There it goes. How are you, brother?
Mr. Words, I'm doing okay. And Melanie, that was absolutely gorgeous poetry. So language. So tonight I'm going to do a poem by me in the end. My second poem is going to be by me, but my first poem is going to be done by the queen of beat poetry, Miss Jane Spoken Word. And I heard her do this the other night, and I had to do it in my voice so I could tell her story by telling my story, by telling her story. And that's the way she writes for everyone. So bear with me while I pull this up. It's called I Am a Poet Ghosting the Machine. I am a poet. I am the air that I breathe. I am the words that I think. Take you to the brink, don't blink, drink it in. Poetry is revolution. Word is the sound solution. Free you from the institution. I am ghosting the machine. I will wake you from your dream. I am a poet. I pen lines with a stroke. I spit rhymes when I toke. Inner fires I will soak, because I ain't no joke. I am a poet. Poetry is revolution. Words are the sound solution. Free you from the institution. I am ghosting the machine. I will wake you from your dream. I am a poet. I float bars when I ride, open doors, shine a light. Free your mind, free your might. You are what you think. You think what you are. Poetry is a revolution. Word is the sound solution. Free you from the institution. I am ghosting the machine. I will wake you from your dream. I will free you from their scheme. I am what I know. I am what I sow. I am revolution wrapped in a straitjacket. I am poetry wrapped in a straitjacket. I will wake you from your dream. I will wake you. I will wake you. Thank you. A most honorable warrior's death. So many poetry people I know have said poetry has saved their lives. The same story is told in a million different voices around the world. Poets are warriors. Poets are fighters. Poets are Olympic pugilists. Our enemies, our nemesis, our sparring partners are simultaneously our mirrors in our past, our present tense existences, our fleeting moments in which we contemplate lives, decisions, relationships, families. Our words run through veins to hearts and through nerves to brains. We spit them out as poetry, exposing them to the elements, sending them to a glorious death, memorialized on page to be read both out loud and in silence, not only by us, but also others who have experienced pieces of our lives in their separate lives. Our epitaphs become their epitaphs. Our poetry is a graveyard that transforms death into life. Gracias, happy Hanukkah, and thank you, James Spoken Word, for being you.
Mute yourselves, give it up for Generalissimo.
Nicely done.
Nice, nice.
Lynch,
Love it.
you are a poet.
Thank you, man. You slammed it.
Generalissimo. Oh, I lost him again. Let me unmute him. Generalissimo, who came in third place in the San Jose Slam Poetry, right? It was San Jose.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. And Scorpiana Lynn hosted. I haven't spoken to Scorpiana in a while, so shout out to Scorpiana, even though she may not be watching this. So happy Hanukkah, Generalissimo. Where can we find you online, brother?
Brian Ira Franco on Facebook and GNRLSMO on Instagram. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening to me. And thank you again, James. You are the queen of beat poetry, young lady.
Shout out to James Spoken Word. Generalissimo, make sure you put your information into the chat. Also, in case those of you forgot, this is being recorded and it's going to be on our Facebook page, the New Rican Poets Cafe Facebook page. And every now and then I like to go through it to see what the people are saying. And there are a bunch of people talking about you fantastic poets. So make sure that you go and check it out. Wow, Melanie, that was amazing. What else? Lynn Lane, you got some love there too. And there was someone else, Gwen, a bunch of people. Jessica, I think Jessica Eden. Oh, I got a shout out too. Shout out to Luis Santiago. I see you, brother. Appreciate it. No Stephen King. There is no podcast. This is it. We do. And it's not the writer Stephen King. Someone named Stephen King on here. So make sure you go check it out on Facebook because people are talking about you guys. So next coming up is Cynthia Via or Via. I don't know how you where the right stress is. Where is I don't see a Cynthia. Was there Cynthia? No, I don't see Cynthia. If Cynthia is here later on, make sure you hit me up so we can get you on. Shout out to Luciana. I see Luciana. She got she got some interesting things coming up for us in the future, but I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want to spoil it. So if Cynthia is not here, then that means we're going to Brooklyn, and we're going with Vigo, Mark Anthony Vigo. I'm loving that background right there. Mark, how are you, man? It's good to see you.
How you doing, man? Good to be here. It's been a minute, so good to see everybody. I got some people here that I saw this week. Jane was there, Generalissimo, so it's good to see some familiar faces, man. I know the theme was language, but I got hip to that kind of late in the fact. I was just glad that I made the cut on the list. But this piece, I think, is going to be okay. I would love to have done it on the 19th, but I know that's going to be a different situation, so I'm going to do it here. This piece I called Requiem for a New Yorican Poet. In all of us lies within a poet, made up of the words, emotions, and spirits of those who have come and gone before us. That poet sometimes goes unnoticed, ignored altogether, or worse yet, stifled by insecure critics with an aversion for truth and such. But in that moment, when that poet allows him or herself to just be, granting themselves unequivocal freedom, allaying their fears to speak what's in their now vulnerably exposed hearts, they become omnipotent. Their words living on forever, como títeres, loved in the hearts of those they speak and stand up for, feared and respected in the minds and backbones of those they speak out against and hold to account. We as poets are all things, many far from perfect, but most importantly, above all else, we are nothing without our stories. We must continue telling them for the benefit of our posterity, preserving and protecting our history, our culture, sharing our experiences and reveling in our victories. Our stories are too important not to be shared with everyone, but we must be the ones to tell them, expressed in voices uniquely our own. And who better to do that than you, me, us? Others may be able to repeat them, but we are the only ones that can truly tell them from our distinct perspective, one forged by our experiences, our upbringing, our surroundings. Growing up Puerto Rican was not always easy, but it has always been beautiful. Now, not all New Yorican poets are Puerto Rican, but they are still all New Yorican poets. And as such, we are here to speak to a much larger audience, not just to the few of us, but to the entire collective of all of us. So there is no need to assimilate or modify our lexicon or change the way we move our bodies or the way we sometimes use our hands to accentuate our words in order to be accepted and understood. Some would feel pigeonholed being considered a New Yorican poet. Personally, I feel honored. If anything, it has allowed me to be my most unlimited, creative, and heartfelt self. We all speak of the human experience because we are all human. That experience is different for all of us for many reasons. Though as New Yorican poets, we can bridge those cultural gaps by identifying and relating to those things that we all have in common. In doing so, we are not just New Yorican poets anymore. We are poets, period. Just telling it like it is. Some can attain an understanding of things only after experiencing for themselves. And as poets, this is where we work our magic. With our words, we encapsulate these life experiences, creating vivid visions with our vocals. When our words captivate you, capturing you completely by surprise because they have struck you like a bolt of lightning in those deep, dark places that hold strong emotions rarely seen or felt in the light of day. Our words, they illuminate, provide comfort, and express hope just as easily as they can bring pain. Combining vowels and consonants like an alchemist, crafting words fused together by heat of emotions erupting from within, the words exploding off our tongue like hellfire. As poets, we are warriors of words, armed with meter and language, emotion, cadence, and charisma. Our words heal as well as cut. They can soothe like a salve for the wronged and the wounded, or be sharp as a blade used to fillet all reprehensible misdeeds to the bone. And when we are done, all that is left is a scorched patch of earth where we once stood, where we ripped open our chests with our own bare hands, freeing our souls to let truth fly. To be a New Yorican poet, it's a beautiful thing, man. To be a part of such an organic movement, one steeped in such tradition and legacy, this path forged for us by a long list of trailblazers, heroes, legends, and icons. Far too many to be named here, though I am sure you know them all. But if I had to name just one, and only one, I'm sure you would all agree. So when my time on this earth is done and they open up my chest, look closely at my heart. There you will find a long winding trail of smoldering footprints made by Miguel Algarin, El Padrino of all New Yorkers. Each of those footprints outlined in embers, burning still. Descansa en paz, Miguel. Gracias por todo y que Dios te bendiga. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Vigo.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, that was dope.
Power. That was awesome. Mark Anthony Vigo. Yes, it is the New Yorican Poets Cafe, but like everyone from every background has added to it and come to it. And I so love that. And I love that people keep talking about Miguel Agarin. Oh, and I love that background. See, that's Miguel right there. That's his smile. That's his energy. That's how he approached the cafe. I love it. And Mark Anthony Vigo, where can we find you online, brother?
I'm on Facebook as Mark Anthony Vigo. I'm on Instagram as Vigo Hard _BK. I put up some poetry on there once in a while, most of the time, so you might catch me there. But if you want to reach me, that's where you can reach me at. Glad to be here, man. Thanks, Advocate.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Make sure you put everything you said, make sure you put it into the chat as well, okay?
I will.
Mark Anthony Vigo. I've known this dude for I think 15 years now, man. 15. I knew him before when his whole head had black hair. When I didn't have all this white right here. I've known him so long my beard couldn't connect, all right? That's how young I was, man. So I love that dude. Make sure you go check him out. And I so appreciate the poem he just shared. And I'm so happy. I am a New Yorican. I am a Puerto Rican who was born and raised in New York, so I'm considered a New Yorican. But I love the fact that the cafe is no matter who you are, bring it. And that's why I love the fact that we got someone like Nick Paleologos who's like, yo, Unmesh is gonna speak in Hindi. I can speak in Greek. I'm gonna do it. Do it. So I'm looking at you, Luciana. If you're still there, do it. Okay, next coming up, we are going to Sam Zane. Where is he? Oh, shout out to GG Clearing. I'm loving the reindeer hats. And shout out to Thomas Connor. I saw him bring his doggy into the mix as well. So I'm a big sucker for dogs. I love dogs. Okay, I got lost now. Wait, who did I say? Assam. Yeah, Assam Zane. Wait, where is he? I saw him before. He had his hat on. Oh, there he is. Now I see him. Wait, is that a Baltimore Orioles hat? Oh, wait. I can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Right. A little fun fact for everyone. Before the New York Yankees were the New York Yankees, they were the New York Highlanders. And before they were the New York Highlanders, they were the Baltimore Orioles. So I'm not that mad at the Baltimore Orioles. Assam, how are you this evening, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks. Thank you very much. Love that last poem.
I'm going to unmute myself and let you get into it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, this poem alludes to war crimes perpetuated against Habir al-Jannabi in Iraq in 2006. And I also borrow a line from an online repository of petition prayers that they offer up in Catholic Mass. This poem is called Mass, Noun, Adjective, Verb. The combined effects of low mass and dark energy could mean that the universe will expand forever because there is too little mass to provide sufficient gravity to rein it in. Simon Mitten. How if my parents had made different decisions 3 decades ago, it could have been my arm sticking out of a mass grave. Linnell Moyes. There is language. There is bereavement. There is a reality that signifies. Much has been written about mass, physical property, resistance. In one account, the universe is weighed and found wanting. In another, homes were demolished. When I think mass, I think exemption. I think imbalance of lonely body. I think old conspiracy. I think bluest flame. I think of how you exchanged your song for someone else's, for the velocity of your own flourishing galaxy. I think my own irrefutable theory, for the warm ascended Christ, for my salt-whipped mother who is too much mother and too much wife, whose grief is a suitcase with a body in it, for the 5 U.S. Army soldiers of the 502nd Infantry who gang raped and murdered the 14-year-old Iraqi girl who shared my own sister's name and killed her father, who, for a living, protected the date orchard, and her mother and her baby sister who loved hide and seek and the sweet plant in the yard, for these 5 instruments of change who in the weeks before gawked and gave mom the thumbs up. Very good, who on the day of, weary from playing cards and hitting golf balls into the sun and drinking whiskey and Red Bull, left the checkpoint for the 1-bedroom home, broke arms, shot into chests and faces, lifted a dress over a head, tore underwear, lit a body on fire from stomach down, who went out to celebrate their kill with a meal of chicken wings. For our own needs and intentions that we now recall in our hearts, we pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer.
Unmute yourselves. Give some energy to a song.
That was amazing.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Woo.
Yeah.
A song's a name. He has got the type of poetry that you really got to stick with in a lot. I feel like, you know, you really want to keep going over and over and reading it, man, because there's so much there. The song, where can we find you online?
I'm on Twitter at IZINEH and Instagram ISSAM.ZINEH.
Thank you, Assam. Make sure you put the information into the chat as well. Okay. Oh, and real quick, are you a Baltimore Orioles fan? Okay.
Yeah, I thought the hat was just cute.
I love it. Dude gives such like this deep poetic poem. He's very serious, and then like ask him, he's like, "Yeah, I just thought that was cute." I love it. I love it. Check out Assam, man. Good people. Thank you, Assam. Next coming up is Tara Lee. Let me unmute Tara. Hey, Tara, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you're back. I love having your energy on here. You ready to get into it?
Yes, I am ready.
Yeah.
So I didn't write to the challenge at first until this open mic started. So I have a challenge piece for you all. And hopefully if there's enough time, I'll get into the other one. All right, here goes. I never learned how to speak. When I was little, some kid tried to take my chips and all I did was clench a fist. In high school, people made fun of my hair, but I just turned away. Some kids found my lyrics and started talking. I sank into my seat until I found my confidence. College was a battleground. More days than other, I was the foreign exchange student people pointed at and laughed. When I spoke to RAs and counselors, none of my words fully translated. Instead of attacking, I hid myself in earbuds and music. No one understood. I never mastered the English language, all the slang and the nuances. Even now, I let my helping hands and facial expressions be my tell-all. I stick close to people I trust, and my silence is a punch to the gut. Mama says I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve, but really, it's the only way I know how to speak. That's that one, and I do have time. Okay. My poems are normally
You got a lot of time. Go ahead.
Yeah, my poems are normally short. So this one, I like this one, so I'll just get right into it. I had to light a candle today, the candle of hope. And as the Advent wreath stared at me and every church member watched, I flicked against the flint and tilted my flame. It didn't work. I can't count how many times I singed my thumb. Someone had to come and help me. Hope is a fickle thing, and it's hard to keep going. More days than other, I have lost mine in the sway of God's hands, but he keeps igniting me, using me to light others. And no matter the battle, hope will always find its way. Thank you, everybody.
Unmute yourselves. Give some.
That was
nice.
Nice.
That was hot.
Very nice.
Good job.
I love having Tara Leon. I love her energy, man. It's so it's like I don't know. It's like the youth of a 12-year-old, but like the wisdom of like 30, 40-year-old. I'm not saying you're that old, right? I'm 40. But I'm just saying, like, I love it, man. It's
Thank you.
I always need that youthful injection. Tara, where can we find you online? And are you not a published author?
I am a published author. If you check out my website and all my social media that I'll put up in a second, you can get my books, which are on Amazon. Yes. And I'm constantly writing. So who knows? I might have another book out whenever. I hope at least. And my social media, y'all can find me at Instagram, TCOS10, Facebook, .com/TaraLeeW, and then my website. I'm not going to say all that. Money's tight, Rona and everything, but we'll get there. We'll get there and make it shorter. And thank you for having me tonight.
Love it. Thank you, Tara. Tara Lee, make sure you put that information into the chat as well. Awesome. And Glissette hit me up. Glissette was like, did she say she wrote that during the open mic? Yes, she did. People inspired her. She's like, I'm a writer. I'm a listen and write. I love it. I love it. Tara Lee, go give her a follow. Next, coming up, all the way from Colorado, it is Michael Sindler, a mainstay here on the Monday and Thursday night online open mics. Michael, how are you this evening?
Hey, it's great to be here. And, you know, so many different faiths and everything have, you know, celebrations around this time, and, you know, wonderful for all of them. But today I have just feel really special in the fact that even with this stupid 6-3 majority, the Supreme Court had the good sense today to say, fuck you to all these homophobes from Indiana and say love is love is love is love, you know? And that's a good sign on the same day that we got the Electoral College done too. So that being said, as a start here, this is just a little haiku called Langston. Little boy on lap, mother reads Langston Hughes. This poem started there. And another one sort of dealing with language and stuff. This is a haiku sonnet. It's called Bridge. Reach across cultures to combine and synthesize. Hybrid creation, still lips trembling, dance of ink across paper. Song breaks through silence, fertilization. Field of blooming flowers, vibrate in air, seed shared among friends, no continental divide, all tend this garden. Bridge between sonnet and haiku, connects east and west, connects me to you. And then this is another pair of tankas, so it's not quite a renga, called Apprentice. I lead the blind man, but his music leads us both, trading ear for eye, knowing our destination in ways I cannot fathom. I lead the blind man, his head rests on my shoulder, linked in for our purpose, the sound of his instrument bearing fruit full of nectar. And then just one tiny more haiku. This is for the holidays, for those of us who are split between different things. Hinju holiday, monkey lighting up the heart, Hana Monica. Thank y'all.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Michael Sindler.
Thank you, Michael.
Love the haiku. Love it.
Yeah, man, like that.
Um,
Sindler. Now man, Michael, man, you got me going, man. I don't know if we can continue to open mic now because you're talking about a Tonka and a Renga, and people don't understand, right? Rengas is like, how can I put it? Right. First off, that's where haikus come from. Haikus used to open up a Renga, and they weren't separate. Later on in life, they separated. But a Renga was like this collaborative, almost like improv freestyle. So when people talk about was hip hop poetry, one of the things I bring up is what they did in Japan with the Renga. And it was like, you think hip hop started freestyle? I'm sorry, I love hip hop, but it started in Japan. So you're bringing up Tonkas and Rengas. That's like Japanese poetry right there. Oh my God. Thank you. I'm such a nerd. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Michael, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight thinking about all this. I'm so happy you said that. Michael, I know that you on the run, so we can't find you online or whatnot.
Oh, but you can always find me here and on Thursday nights and various other. Like I said, I'm not in as many open mics as Brian Franco, but pretty damn close, man. So all around the world, it's a community. We're all poets. We all love each other.
Thank you, Michael. Michael Sindler. Real quick, I know I should be promoting myself more and I don't, but listen, I created, all right, an animated cartoon like series breaking down poetry. And I have a video simply based on the Tonka and one based on the haiku. Look me up on YouTube, Advocate of Words, and you will see how geeky I get. This dude said a Renga, man. What? A Renga. Also, for those of you like hip hop, Jadakiss, right? Like the way he spits is the way they used to do old school Greek odes. Okay, just want to let y'all know that about Jadakiss and hip hop and poetry, and I'm all into this, and I can't focus now, so I'm gonna have to quickly get on the next poet. And she's playing hooky today from class, so she could be with us, and that's Catherine Sweeney. Hi, Catherine. How are you this evening?
Come on. Is it going to go on for like ever? Yeah.
Oh, the class is the new joke. It's going to last for a little while. We will get over it. But I saw when I had mentioned it with Gwen C, I saw your eyes light up. You were like, wait, he remembered. Of course I remembered. All right. I'll leave myself. Go ahead, Catherine.
So I wrote this poem actually for this a while ago, but then I had class, so I didn't come and read it. But then I read it today and I was like, oh, I think that this will work for this kind of theme. It's called Uterus Collector. The news is filled with hysterectomies. This was a few cycles ago, so we've already forgotten. It's a mouthful, really. Hysterectomy, colposcopy, ovary, vulva, uterus, clitoris, vagina, pap smear. Words in spell check that cannot be found. Words that have been assigned to us, names that misrepresent the environment of intimacy. Shame language, dirty, private, whisper language, male language, other language. The language of cold, clinical tables, covered with paper so flimsy the crinkle echoes no matter how carefully you try to sit, how still you can be, how hard it is to will our own invisibility. Words reserved for desire and even then bucketed out into trigger. Have people always been so afraid of the power of naming female genitalia that we now have to warn people in advance of saying anything at all? Not that we would dare utter the truly filthy in public. Rules like, it's not ladylike, nice girls don't use words like that, how dare she say that, did you hear her say pussy? But pussy's okay, right? Good pussy, even better. I want your pussy now, not future pussy, not I can feel the future on your skin pussy, or soul pussy, or share my world pussy. More, he rubbed his skin raw against my pussy, a pussy so good chafing is expected. An irresistible, delicious, chafe-worthy pussy. When you sit down and eat at my altar, remember we are not all afforded the same dignity. There is nothing complicated in reminding everyone Women are raped for sport. Doctors rip out women's uteruses against their will. People have been known to cauterize the human clit with a hot metal rod. Remember that my body is a battleground, and we brandish these words like swords of freedom.
Unmute yourselves. Give some energy to Catherine.
Yes.
That was That's how you tell them what it really is.
Love the
Good shit.
Weenie, I love it. You know, and like for me, that poem kind
Thanks,
of
guys.
like how Catherine is, because like she knows her poetry, but she likes to drop those words. Like, yeah, I can say that word and what. You know, I've seen that and I love it. I love it.
Don't be afraid of pussy. It's okay.
Catherine, where can we find you online?
I'm at Kate Renaud, KateRenaud, and that's at Instagram. I'll put it in the chat.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Catherine Sweeney playing hooky today. The joke will get old, but y'all know me. I like to run jokes into the ground for a little bit, man. So Catherine Sweeney, and for those of you who don't know, Catherine has been away for a while, and I asked her where she was, and the first thing she said, well, I had some classes, so that's the new excuse. You know, so when you're, for everyone watching, when your probation officer asks you why I haven't showed up, well, I've been taking some classes. Great excuse right there. Love it, love it. All right, next coming up is our wild card, the withdrawn. The withdrawn is never afraid to say how he feels. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, I'm good. You ready to get into it, man? I'm ready to hear some withdrawn.
I'm ready. I got 3 short pieces, and one of them I just wrote is a haiku. Typical withdrawn. She don't speak Spanish and doesn't call me daddy. She calls me papi. Okay, now on to the next 2. When life gets rough, what do you tell the world? What do you tell yourself? We always seem to forget that words have more power than realize. That this detrimental language we speak can make all the difference in the process of our growth. Verbal alignment is just as important as what you choose to focus on. Let's not overlook that. And this is the final one. The devil wants me to talk, but my apologies. I don't speak fuckboy. I'm not fluent in screwing with someone's emotions for shits and giggles, or completely lacking in self-awareness, hurting feelings and claiming I didn't know. Like most, I have hurt and been hurt. Did my best to own up to the mistakes I've made and forgive those who took paths that wounded me along the way. But cheating is one of those inadmissible things. I never had the energy to kiss or stick my dick in multiple entities, and even when presented with the opportunity, I still said no. Can't imagine the damage done beyond mental and physical, because that kind of hurt seeps past portals. It's corruption touching your soul. And I'm not with that. There comes some real testing when time is spent relationship investing, because that's when it seems like everybody wants you. But you have a choice. You always do. To be true to the sincerest sound of your spirit or not to be. That is the question Hamlet would have asked. But isn't it sad how for some this is even a quiz to begin with? They're just as bad as those who answer without query. I never will understand the casting of a hex via instant satisfaction of the flesh. As Russ said, that's not in my nature. I swear it's not the real me. Even if I felt okay about it, mom would kill me. And she definitely would. Besides, if I ever did decide to cheat, I'd definitely snitch on myself. I can't live with feeling guilty. So if you're with me, there's no need to worry. Your soul is safe in my presence. That I can promise you. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give some energy.
Withdrawn, very nice.
That was
Nice, withdrawn.
The withdrawn, just let it be known that he is committed to the New Rican Poets Cafe's online open mic, and he will be attending no one else's online open mic because he's not a cheater. Not joking. Withdrawn, where can we find you online, brother?
Thank you. You can follow me at The Withdrawn on Instagram, thewithdrawn.com. Thank you for submitting to Love Letters to Gaia. We really, really appreciate it. Thursday, I'm also doing a New York Christmas poem, and I hope you enjoy that. Also, I was on a podcast episode released this past Sunday. I also dropped that in the chat. If you want to dig into my head a little bit in that episode, I had fun with that. So thank you guys so much, and pleasure to always be here.
Please do, brother. Put that in the chat. That is The Withdrawn. You can find him on all social media handles at The Withdrawn, or go to his website, thewithdrawn.com. Next coming up is a name that I don't think I've seen here in the Monday night before, and that is Monet Gray. But I don't see a Monet Gray, but I saw a testimony. Is that Monet? Yep. She's nodding her head. Yep. She's letting me know. She's like, you're pretty clever. You figured it out. I did. You're the only one with Monet. So do you want me to call you Monet Gray or Testimony?
Well, Monet Gray is my name, but my stage name is Testimony. So, it flows either or.
Well, forget the government. We're going to go with the stage name, Testimony. Testimony, where are you located?
I'm from New York. I was born and raised in the Bronx, but I currently live upstate New York.
BX, that's what's up. Then where you been, man? This is the 36th week we've done this. Where have you been?
You guys fill up quickly. I didn't realize how fast you guys, oh my gosh. Like when I say 8:13, I finally got accepted on the list. I'm so excited to finally be here because I didn't realize how fast you guys do the signups.
Yes, we do. Well, I'm glad that you got in. So yes, signups 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday right away. And like within 20 minutes, it fills up. So I'm happy that you got on. I'm ready to listen to you. Go ahead. Testimony. Welcome.
Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, I am a teacher. I have taught for the past 9 years. So I know the theme tonight is on language, but me teaching English language arts, I said, well, maybe this could fit in. So I'm going to say a poem on my favorite teaching experience, and it was when I was a substitute teacher. My favorite teaching experience was when I was a substitute. I wasn't ready to be a full-time teacher. I didn't know what to do. So I figured I'd go in different classrooms from K to 12 and learn what I did and didn't do well. So I looked at this charter school and picked up an assignment, practiced the lesson plan and how I executed in timing. I'm in an empty classroom sitting at the teacher's desk. The rest of the story is a straight up mess. This tall and slanky teacher, light-skinned with dreads, walks in and says, "You're the substitute for Miss Fred?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And you're asking why? He's, "Look, now you got to cover my class. Look, I got pink eye." I look at his eye. Yeah, it's all pink and stuff, but how you come in here and tell me to suddenly to switch up? I say, "Sir, I practiced this lesson plan for the past 10 minutes. He said, "This is the principal orders. That is none of my business. I got my own lesson plans that are easy to follow. Leave the work on my desk and I'll check it tomorrow." This dude had some nerve, so I gave him a look. He's like, "All you got to do is read aloud this book." I look at the book and it's The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. I'm like, cool, I like the philosophy. It has some truth. He gives me this weird smile and says, "Make sure to answer the questions on this paper. By the way, you're reading Dr. Seuss to a bunch of 10th graders." I'm like, "What?" He says, "Have a nice day. I'm sure you'll do fine. I got pink eye. Gotta run out now. Bye." He walked out and closed the door. Man, that dude was cold, telling me to read a picture book to 15-year-olds. The kids started walking in. Yo, I wasn't prepared. Oh, snap, we got a substitute. Oh my God, I was scared. I walked to the front of the room. They all started to stare. I had the picture book in my hands and nope, I didn't care. Okay, class, I'm gonna read aloud this book, then you gotta answer the questions, summarize the text, and make a lot of connections. This girl raised her hand. Miss, I gotta go to the bathroom. I don't feel well. Can I walk out of the classroom? Then this boy raised his hand. Miss, I don't know why, but my stomach hurts. Can I leave the class and can I go straight to the nurse? I'm like, look, just do one thing for me. I let you go wherever you want. Just let me finish the story. They was mad, but I know the game. I used to be in 10th grade too, and I acted the same when I was their age. I picked up the Dr. Seuss book and turned to the first page. They all started to groan. I felt this surge of embarrassment. So what I did next was straight up hilarious. I started rapping the book. I started rapping the lines. The kids was looking or shook. I was blowing their minds. You know how Dr. Seuss book always ended in the rhyme? I was lyrically flowing. I was taking my time. The kids was like, yo, this book is actually sick. I wish our regular teachers was always teaching like this. I used my little Drake hand as I was reading the message. Couldn't tell me nothing. I was deeply invested. When I finished the book, all I heard was, oh, shorty, mad nice. She's a good sign, you know? I mean, that was an experience I will never forget. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was possessed. Now, remember that girl and boy that wanted to go to the bathroom and nurse? They both got up, got their paper, and started doing their work. I often wonder if those kids even remember that day, if they remember the lesson, if they remember Miss Gray. I read the Lorax to 10th graders. I never so proud. I miss teaching. I'm ready to go back right now. It's a tiring job, but the end results are perfect. It was then that I knew I was meant to teach with a purpose. No regrets over here. The profession is worth it. I'm so glad that I'm a teacher that discovered her purpose. Thank you.
Give it up for testimony.
Nice.
Testimony and the whole poem was awesome, but the one thing that really stuck out to me was when you asked if the students remember that day, if they remember you. And I always think about that, like when I teach, I can see the impact I'm having on that day and at the end of class or week, but in the long term, what am I doing? And that so spoke to me. Testimony. Where can we find you online?
They can find me with my stage name, Testimony. That's on Facebook, that's on Instagram, and any social media platform. Just type in Testimony and you can find me.
Thank you. Please come back. Please set your alarm so you can sign up at 8:01 p.m. because we need some more of you, okay?
Okay, I promise to come back. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Testimony. I love it, man. Look, I got a soft spot for teachers, man.
Dope.
Especially during this time, because like, yeah, I'm going through it as a teacher. I'm missing my kids. All right, next coming up is Val Larkin. And Testimony, make sure you put your information in the chat because people like to copy and paste. Next coming up is Val Larkin, the trendsetter. Val's like, come on, dude.
How much do I have to bribe you to stop calling me that?
I love it. If it really bothers you, I won't call you that. But I like it. I think it's
okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry, Val.
I'm easily humiliated. It's just a natural process.
You're a leader. People like you. They want to see what you're doing. I know we all feel bad for you because people like you and you're such a great poet. You know, it's such a hard life because you're so good at your writing. No, I'm joking. And you got fantastic hair. I love it. But all right, let me shut up so that we can hear you. Go ahead, Val.
Okay. So when I heard the theme for this week, it made me think of a cycle I wrote pretty recently called Invincible Moments. And it's not about literal changes in language. It's kind of about those moments in your life where everything shifts just a little bit, but permanently. And sometimes those moments happen and you know them at the time almost. You can kind of feel that it's one of those moments. And sometimes those moments happen and it's only later that you realize that you can remember everything about them because they were so important. So anyway, it's about that. And I'm going to read 3 sections, though the last one is very short. Each section starts with a little epitaph and ends with a quote. Invincible moments. Those singular, invincible moments. Last summer on the lake. She was reading to me on the bluffs above the shore, The Last Unicorn, and the sun on her hair and the light off the water filled my heart with gold. The sky over the water was streaming, yellow, purple, rose, and blue, rising in towering battlements above and within the skin of the lake. But in the depths, the red bull roared, and wave foam wept, and all the butterflies burnt out. Everywhere around us, eyes gazed upward to see phantom dragons rampant in the clouds, flaming the sun down the sky. I alone looked down, watching her, turned away and up with all the rest. And I knew in that aching moment that all our dreams would flee as she followed them upward, inevitably, as I wandered, earthbound and pathless. I heard the sky tolling the end of our story. I watched her face, rose gold, and my heart pulled from me, reaching its desperate tendrils out and always toward her, grasping the last strands of our fairy tale, weaving them into the deep fabric of myself before she slipped away. I can never regret. I can sorrow, but it's not the same thing. Peter S. Spiegel.
Mute yourself and give some energy to Vale.
That was awesome.
Thanks, Phil.
Vale.
Sorry. I got too quick. There was too much of a pause in there, and I was like, oh wait, we got to give energy. Okay, Vale does have a second one. I'm sorry, Vale. I'm sorry. Don't have people beat me up. Go ahead. You're a trendsetter.
But I'm a trendsetter and a mob boss. Okay, second and third, but the third one is super short. Those moments of awakening, of understanding in a breath what wakefulness can be, all the myriad definitions of life. The temple steps. I slipped through trees and undergrowth grown green and knowing, hushed sunlight coming in points like stars through the canopy of boughs overhead. I will never know where those old stone risers in the clearing came from, or why I will always long for their silent mossiness in the leaf-dusted glow. Following them down and down, where deep pools of shadow simmer beneath the verdure, where I am filling my veins with chlorophyll. I will root myself here on this battered stage, stones like teeth, broken and chaotic. The steps rise on 3 sides, a wave carrying the audience up and then down on phantom actors. This is a theater for birdsong and brief scuttlings now. Lost art, lost music, lost years long gone. The air vibrates now only to the beat of the earth's heart and to the melody of life on scintillating life. But what I like is the excitement of choosing a path carefully, in the fear that the quagmire may reach out and suck me down. I like sufficient danger to put an edge on things. Jean Stratton Porter. Those singular, invincible moments, those endless moments whose sweet sharpness, whose wordless vows, whose blossoming hearts guard every moment following forever. I am 6 years old, and I am seeing a violin. My heart broke open, and history poured in. Salman Rushdie.
Now unmute yourselves and give it up for
There we
Vic.
go, Vic.
That's a good song.
Nice.
That's so good.
Nice. Excellent.
Beautiful, magnificent, magnifico. Woo!
Vale Larkin going from trendsetter to mob boss. Vale, where can we find you online?
Facebook, vale.larkin.writes, and Instagram, Vale Larkin, all one word. And if anyone's curious, I used to actually, before I was in housing insecure sex worker, I was actually a professional classical musician. So I've had a weird life. So yeah, that's the violin is actually a reference to what one of the things I eventually went on to do. Thanks.
Thank you, Vale. Make sure you put that information into the chat. And I know last week Vale gave a little story to their history. So make sure you go check out Vale. Vale got an interesting history that they alluded to I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. We were last on, and then the 1 week last week. And then the writing is fantastic. That's why I tease Vale about being a trendsetter. You know, I say it's about the hair, but it's really about the writing. I enjoy Vale. So give Vale a look. Vale, I don't see your info in the chat. Get to work. Let's go. All right. I'm going to be mob boss on you now. Put your info in the chat so that people can follow you. Shout out to Abraham Cardona, who just joined us a little late, but nonetheless, he showed up. Love that dude representing New Jersey. Also, shout out to Mark Vigo, who I see he got me in the background. I had mentioned earlier, that's Raul Rios on the left. I mentioned earlier that I have known Mark Vigo before my beard connected and the white grew in. So I appreciate him putting that picture up of me. Oh my God, I look so young there. What happened? What happened to the time? Okay, moving on. Next up is Marissa Parada. Where is Marissa? I saw Marissa before. Also, shout out to Ray Jane. I saw Ray Jane was here, but then Ray Jane had to bounce. So shout out to Ray Jane. Mashid, always giving love. Mariela Cabrera checking in. Poetaku, also love it. I appreciate it. All the way from Japan, man. Poetaku, look him up. Poeta Q, look him up on YouTube. But right now, we're going to focus on Marissa. Thank you to Mr. Speaker for bringing Marissa because we love Marissa. Marissa,
everybody. Happy Monday night. Thank you for having me all the way in New Mexico. I feel so blessed to be here. I am so taken aback, and I'm so brand new here. I didn't even know there was themes. I'm sorry, Advocate. I didn't even know there was themes until tonight. So I will fucking get on board with this, and I will get the themes done.
That means you're not following me on Instagram, and you're not listening to me during the show. That you just shot yourself out, Marissa. I said so many nice things about you, and you just let everyone know you're not even listening to me on the show.
I know, but I'm totally getting this is my second week. So I'm gonna get on board with this. I promise you, I will get my shit together and I will do this. Okay. I love a challenge. So thank you all for being here and for letting me come and share. This is a very private piece. I feel like this is a very safe space to share this piece. And so I'm gonna give you a quick trigger warning for miscarriage and infant death. So if that is something that, you need to mute or whatever, that's okay. But I just wrote this. This is brand new. And this is I think the first forum I've shared this in. So here we go. It's called Just Misplaced. I've always lost things. I've misplaced every house key growing up. Homework I was supposed to turn in, even a shoe on the way to school one morning. I've always lost things. I would be scolded, yelled at, long finger of blame wagging shame into me. I've always regretted losing things. So as an adult, I've never lost a thing again. Routine visit. Gel squirted across my moon-shaped belly. Cold, wet. Such weight on my stomach as the wand slid across my skin. Black and white smeary blur on a screen.
I make believe your face in my mind. Must wait for now, another month still to go. That was the plan. Things always go according to plan. The ultrasound wand moved and moved, yet you did not. I waited to hear the raspy rhythm of your life growing inside mine, until the disappearance of your heartbeat, as if I was somehow asleep, needed to shake me, wake me, feel you kick the walls of my body again. But somehow, you just fell asleep. You were right there. I could see your tiny arms and face, legs crossed, toes curled, still tethered to my body. You were not gone. You were right there. The air clung to silence like I clung to the rails of the bed, white knuckles, pale face. My heart might as well have stopped too. No one spoke. My lungs forced open my face, aspirate on the ripcord of air I choked on between the tears. Every rib splintered in my chest, pierced my heart, tore into my sideways sobs and spit that dripped from my mouth, muted in disbelief. I felt every contraction, every pain as you came into the light. Your eyes never got to see. As you spilled forth into a world that would never hear your cries. Oh, how silent the night was and has been every night since. You smelled nothing of death. You felt as warm as me, peaceful look on your cherub face, never to see me, never to smell me, never to suckle my breast or smile at each other's faces. But I smiled through saltwater eyes, for you had 10 fingers and 10 toes. Your nose was the same as mine, swaddled in that striped hospital blanket. You were so light in my arms, as if your soul leaving lifted your weight, gave me strength to hold you to my chest as my heart begged to beat for yours. How long I laid there, I still cannot recall. The only sensation I take with me is your smell and your beautiful tiny face, for you are not lost, just misplaced.
Mute yourselves and give some love to Marissa Prada.
Marissa, thank you for sharing.
Woo!
That was so hard to share, I'm sure.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Definitely takes a lot of courage to rip that.
Thank you, Marissa.
Great.
Thank you all for
Powerful.
creating a safe space.
Prada, wait, I just lost Marissa on my screen. There she is. Let me unmute her. I say this time and time again, the best poets and artists in the world are the ones who allow themselves to be the most vulnerable. And Marissa, you are so new to us, and for you to be that vulnerable with us, I am so appreciative of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Where can people find you online?
My name on Facebook, Prada Painting and Poetry on Instagram. I'll pop it in the chat, but no, I mean, just more than anything, thank you for all being so loving and allowing that poem to come out tonight.
Yes, and please, Marissa, make sure you read the chat. And just in case anyone's not reading, I think one of the responses that stood out to me was from Edward Foreman, and he basically said, "Death has a soul, and it's in Marissa's poetry." And I thought, oh shoot, that's poetic. That is like, damn, why can't I get something like that? Edward, now I'm joking. But yeah, Marissa, you touched people. So make sure you check out the chat, okay? Please do, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And don't be a stranger, all right? That's it. You stuck with us now. Marissa Prada is stuck with us now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, once again for bringing Marissa around. And yeah, yeah. sometimes it's hard, you know, when a poet hits you with something that heavy, it's kind of hard to move forward. But you know, that's part of poetry. I love the celebration part of poetry, but also the vulnerability. And this is what people, you know, they connect with poetry. So I love it. Thank you, Marissa. I have one more person on the list, then we can get to the open mic list. I think we may be able to get to one person on the open mic list. Shout out to Urban Cowboy Poet. I don't think we're gonna be able to get to him tonight. Maybe, I hope so. Oh no, we may be able to get to him. Dane Int, GG Nelson, Luis Palbon, Jade Lauren, Tessa Somo, Diane Ward, Tiffany Jewell. They're all on the open mic list, and Tiffany Jewell has been lighting it up in the chat too. So shout out to Complicated Passions, who is also here. Scott Pleasance, man. Scott Pleasance came here like an hour or so. Go ahead and shout him out. What's up, Scott? That's my dude right there. And Portia Grace, your picture is fierce, Portia. I don't know who you are, but your picture is fierce. I just love it. Portia Grace. Okay, but we are now going to Ron Mark Thompson. This dude is involved in everything writing. You're looking for workshops and open mics, find this dude, Ron Mark Thompson. And Ron brings a lot of people to the open mic as well. Ron, how are you this evening, brother?
Not too bad. How you doing, Advocate?
I'm good. I'm good. You
Great.
good?
Thank you for bumping me up here from the list. You meant waitlist. You said open mic list, but I think you meant waitlist when you said
waitlist. I'm sorry. I was still going through Marissa's poem, man. She hit us. You know what I'm saying? She came through with an 18-wheeler and so I'm sorry about that.
Exactly.
You always got my back. You're always editing me, making sure that even my videos are on point with the times, all of that. I love you, Ron.
No, that's, you know, and then it's so funny. I don't even know how to follow that. That was very powerful, Marissa, you know, very emotional. And talking about the pressure, by the way, Testimony mentioned yesterday evening, like at 8 p.m., I checked the ticket site. Oops, no artist RSVP. 10 minutes later, 10 p.m., I check, it's there. I sign up. A friend of mine signs up at 8:20. Then a fellow poet tried it at 8:25, sold out. So in literally, like I said, 20 minutes, 35 spots were taken. This is like a competition. So if you ever wonder if the internet is slow on Sunday evenings in the United States, it's the Neo-Regan Poets Cafe's fault, you know, but well, thanks for, you know, getting to me here. So to the theme, a new language. The title is Don't Get Lost in Translation. Deutsch ist meine Muttersprache, die ich bei meiner Geburt nicht gewählt hatte. Es ist die Sprache, die ich als Kleinkind auf dem Planeten Erde kennenlernte. German is my first language, which I did not choose at my birth. It is the language as a toddler I was introduced to planet Earth. In der Schule lernte ich Englisch, war aber angenehm überrascht, als ich in New York ankam. Ich bemerkte, dass der britische gegenüber dem amerikanischen Dialekt ist etwas anders. In high school, I learned English, but was pleasantly surprised when I arrived in Manhattan. As I noticed, British and American dialects are like Roman versus Latin. I eventually settled in the Bronx, tried hard to shed my accent, but it did not want to shed me, so I still have some German in my present. Now I want to learn Spanish, so in the bodega I can glow and say more than just uno, dos, tres, cuatro. My advice, learn a new language whenever you can. Trust me, you will be a better woman or man. You will not only learn new words, but also a new culture. You become more worldly and look less like a vulture. An ignorant folk, you will then not be mistaken. You will realize that it's not all bad to speak American. English isn't even the most natively spoken language on the planet. Several hundred more millions speak Mandarin Chinese. Yes, that's it. And about 93 more million humans natively speak Spanish over English. Yes, we're just number 3. If you don't trust me, look up the statistic. So learn something new. Try French, try Arabic, Japanese. You will enlighten yourself. Trust me, it will be a breeze. Or if you master Russian, you can work for the US as a spy. Trust me, you will be the FBI's or CIA's best new guy. Heck, teach yourself some Vulcan and Klingon. You will not be a geek, but you will definitely bring the groove on. Learning foreign phrases, you will see the world in a different view. You will get to know people you never knew. Ja, du wirst die Welt aus einer anderen Seite sehen. Du wirst Leute kennenlernen, die du nie gekannt hattest zuvor. And this shall be my poetic gift for you all tonight. I hope my poem made your evening a bit more bright. The end.
Unmute yourselves and give some energy to Ron.
Love it, man.
Nice.
I love it. I love it, man. Tonight, I love it. I love all the languages we're hearing, all the cultures. I am so happy that we got a Star Trek reference up in there. And wait, I lost Ron. Oh, here he is. His video went off for some reason for me. I love hearing everyone speak to all the different language, and I love the Star Trek reference and Klingon. I'm not the only geek here. I feel so much better. Thank you. Ron, where can we find you online, brother? Oh, I'm trying to unmute you, Ron. Can you unmute yourself? Whoop, wait, what happened?
Yep, got it. Can you hear me?
Yep, now we hear you. Go ahead, Ron. Tell the people where they can find you online.
Thank you so much. So you see my Instagram address on my display name. I'm going to tell you more about Bronx Art and Fun Up because as Edward had mentioned, I always recommend other people's, other organizations, workshops, and occasionally I do my own. This week on Thursday, I have a book talk with MTK and Robert Gibbons. And on Sunday at 5 p.m., this coming Sunday, December 20th, I have an end of the year poetry reading and reflection with poetry and stories reflecting this crazy year. From here, from the New York Poets community, we got Nick P., Trisha, Diane, and Paul Latora featuring plus 8 more from my Bronx and Manhattan Writers Group and Creative Expressions. I'm going to put the Eventbrite in the chat. I have not yet put up the event. I'm going to do that tonight because I was busy submitting my love letters to Gaia last night. Talking about pressure, 2 minutes before midnight, I submitted my poem and made sure photos. So thank you, Morel and team, for doing that for us here. And thank you, everyone, as always. Thanks, Advocate. I appreciate you.
I'm sorry, I muted myself. I don't know if you heard that. Let me say it again. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. I love you, brother. Make sure you give Ron a follow, man. I've actually gotten to sit in writing classes with him and work some stuff out where you've had to write on the spot. He's come up with some brilliant things. And I got to be real honest with you. When we were in that class, Ron, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to stand out with everyone. Except when Ron came up, because he would always twist it. He'd always have a twist. I remember there was the twist about the apartment. And you wrote the story about walking into the wrong apartment, right, Ron? I always remember that. I was like, oh, I got this class. I'm on point. Then Ron came on and I was like, all right, I need to step my game up. Ron Mark Thompson, give him a follow. I got room for one more poet, and we are going with the urban cowboy poet. I'm so happy that I got to get him in. He is happy. I see him. He's jumping around. He's like, yes, yes. Let me try to unmute him. How are you, brother?
All right. Thanks for getting me in. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There may have been a delay. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to let you get into it. Go ahead.
Okay, now? All right. I said I do urban legends. Normally I don't do prompts, but I prepared something and the theme to fit into the next 2 weeks. I got mixed up on what the prompt was today. And no tuve tiempo para escribir una leyenda en español because I just learned tonight. So I'll do a legend about New York for you New Yorkers. One of the most famous legends, and if you New Yorkers say it's true, I'll believe you. When you fly to New York, an awesome skyline you'll be greeting. On the surface, take a taxi to that most important meeting. Below ground, go by subway to the restaurant or theater, but don't go any lower. In the sewer, there be gators. Now, how did alligators with their big old snappy mouth come to live below Manhattan when you know they grow down south? Did some genius say, well, noshing on his bagel and his locks? What the city really needs is alligators or crocs. They were brought back by New Yorkers wintering in the Florida sun who thought a dangerous animal might bring some family fun. They needed gifts for grandkids who might feel really hurt if Gran went to Miami and all they got was a t-shirt. Grandpa had the same idea. I know what to get. I'll buy little Joe a baby gator for a pet. Joe will be the envy of every kid at school. He could use the family bathtub as the gator's swimming pool. At first, the little beasts were welcome in the family nest. Then they started biting and become a real pest. New York moms appreciated feeling clean and showered. They couldn't enjoy their bath time with a chance they'd be devoured. All around Manhattan, they cried, this just can't go on. And all the families flushed their alligators down the John. These reptiles congregated in the sewers of New York, and then they started breeding where it's stinky, damp, and dark. It started in the 30s, flushing baby crocodilians. Some were boys, some were girls. By now, there could be millions. There ain't no light way down below, and if you believe the winos, they've grown into a colony of giant blind albinos. Criminals who hide below and see those big jaws snap will learn they're not the baddest bangers and that they're Big Apple. They'll find out soon enough that their zip guns and switchblades just ain't a match for the man-eater from the Everglades. If you slip through and greet the beast at New York's lowest level, you might think you fell to hell and met up with the devil. But will they come up and terrorize? I don't think they would. They leave the upper city to the pushers, pimps, and hoods. They ain't gonna swarm the streets if manholes ain't kept shut, or swim up through a public john and bite you on the butt. No need to hide up in the sky in a high-rise elevator. Just be careful not to go too low. In the sewer, there be gators. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Go. Cowboy poet.
I love it.
That was a good end. I like
That
that.
was an amazing ending right there. I
Very
love that.
nice.
Cowboy.
The urban cowboy poet, real quick, because we have run out of time, but real quick, I want to give him an opportunity to let him to tell us where we can find him online. Go ahead, tell us, where can we find you online, sir?
Urban Cowboy Poetry on YouTube or Facebook.
Awesome. Make sure that you put it in the chat as well, or people should be able to remember that. Urban cowboy poet or urban poet cowboy?
Urban Cowboy Poetry.
Okay, urban cowboy poetry. There we go. Give him a look. Thank you, brother. I appreciate having you on. I'm glad we got to you. And
thank you.
Pardon my dyslexia, because I really am dyslexic, because sometimes I flip it over. That's why I said urban poet cowboys. Urban cowboy poetry. Look it up. Dude is awesome. Once again, if you want to sign up for the open mic, 8 p.m. It opens up on Sunday evening. You go to nuyorican.org, click full events calendar. You would click on next week is the 21st. So you would click for the 21st and you would get a artist RSVP ticket is for free. You gotta sign up early. Our next open mic is on Thursday, hosted by La Bruja. Please stay tuned. Follow the Nuyorican, or you follow me online as well at Advocate of Words with a Z for more information about the celebration we're having for Miguel Agrin. And I don't want to leak too much. I'm just gonna say December 19th is just the first of many, and that's only going to be our virtual celebration. We got a lot coming up for Miguel. Probably gonna spend the whole year celebrating this man's life. So yeah, we had a great night. And I am a tormented artist for the tormented soul. It's been a hard week, and you have all made it so fantastic for me. Thank you so much. I have enjoyed myself. So as always, good night, sweet poet. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Good night, sweet poet. May your dreams be as imaginative as tonight's poems, and in many different languages. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for welcoming the spirit of Miguel Agarin into your home. I have been your host for the evening. My name is Advocate of Words. Make sure you follow the New Eurekan on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we will be here next week. Next week, the theme is original inspiration. Flip it however you want. Original inspiration. All right, y'all. It's time to get back to life.